And it answered by so the Sejuani is going jungle. It's going to be T-Zums on that Cho'Gath and Chop playing the Sejuani. I do fear for BAF's damage a little bit in this game. You're very reliant on the Anivia and the Twitch, and Anivia can be difficult to really force damage on that champion. I think it's a kind of champion, like I said earlier, you really want people to be running into you. The same thing with Renata. But if you're playing in a certain way where you have to be moving forward, I think the Anivia can be a real nightmare to try and make work. A lot of pings. I can hear a hell of a lot of pings. So I can see potentially an invade from either team, perhaps. A lot of pings onto the enemy fountain as well. So you see T-Zums potentially in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to see the Scion early, but might be able to force a flash or something. They're just going to walk away from that. Okay. They do have that ward up there in the top lane, though. No way they can invade from beside mid lane with that other ward close to the red buff, but Chop's going to spot, I think, a couple of them as they walk by. Yeah, they're just going to back away completely from this and go back to doing their own thing. Good spot from T-Zums. Definitely could have been in a lot of trouble if he wasn't paying enough attention there.
Yeah, could have been ridiculously bad if that Nautilus landed that level 1 kill. Could have set the entire tempo, but manages to walk out of there and survive as Sejuani is starting topside and Wukong is starting bot side. So they're going to be pathing parallel or opposite from each other, which means that potentially we have a Sejuani level 3 gank.
Yeah. If you take a look over at the buff here, you can see Wibbly, Bishan, and Yusuf all standing on that ward. So they know where they've started. They have this information. I think they probably know that Sejuani was being leashed topside, but I'm very interested to see what Wibbly's pathing will be like. He's going to completely ignore Krugs anyways. He's going to straight onto his Raptors and getting an early showing of what this top lane is going to look like. Just trading those grass sparks back and forth. 2 infinite stacking HP, somewhat low damage tanks. They're really difficult to do anything. And you can see on the map, Wibbly going for an invade already onto this blue buff. He knows the Sejuani has started topside. So he's going to walk straight in. It's a huge trade going over to Sokka. Did get that level 2 first into... Was able to get that full electrocute proc off, which Lissandra quite early can do a surprising amount of damage. But Chop Time is going to come in for this gank. The flash away, but the W, second part of it at least, isn't going to land. There's going to be no CC layered onto this Lissandra. She's going to get away, but that flash being blown at 3 minutes, especially into the Anivia with that wall. It's going to be a big fight here in the bot lane. Everyone flashing forward. The hook goes wide, and Granny Span and Digitest going to get out with their lives, but no flashes.
The Hex Flash being blown, they make it out alive. We were talking about Granny Span just surviving. And he uses these flash and sacrifices that to make it out alive. Yeah, a lot of early trading. These junglers trying to make stuff work. That vertical invade from that Wukong trying to come in here. Meanwhile, in top lane, it seems like it's a bit of fighting. But nothing happens.
Gonna go for a big trade straight on top of his minion wave. He's gonna take a lot of damage in return here. Nappy's still level 3, taking a lot of damage. That Nivea early game is so squishy. But Chop the Farmer gonna show himself off this wall. Wibbly is waiting for it. Still maybe room to go for something. They want the scuttle. You can see they want the scuttle. He's gonna find the hook, and Chop has to flash away. No audio because the camera was not focused on it, but it's a lot of sums burned. Both jungle and both bot laners. No flashes now for BAF.
Yeah, that bot lane actually had a lot of early prio. Just the nature of the Ashe and the Nautilus into the Twitch Renata. They had so much early prio that even though Chop tried to get... I'm going to have to interrupt you because Wibbly is going to go straight onto a fight. He's rooted on the spot. Chop is in a lot of trouble here. Doesn't have that flash because it was burned earlier. And the bonk from Wibbly comes in. And that's first blood to the jungler of ICM. Yeah, and he's actually going to get double scuttle from that as well. Catching that Sejuani on a really bad rotation.
Lushan taking a lot of damage just trying to farm against the range of Renata and Twitch. But that's a big advantage now for ICM. Especially we know how good of a player Wibbly is. We know all too well. But I think, if you continue.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, I mentioned that the Twitch and the Renata bot lane actually gets really, really scary when they get their first backs.
Yeah.
Because this is a lane in which Twitch can actually just 1v2 if Renata gets engaged on at any point. If Nautilus misses hook and hits Renata instead, Twitch just lands free autos, which he's been doing. You can see the massive health difference already, and he hasn't even backed. He's just sitting on a Doran's Blade.
The first straight game up already.
Yeah, this game's quieted down quite a bit as well, as the drags come up. Sejuani's pathing bot side again. She is about 2 camps down because of the Wukong invade and the double scuttle in the first blood. But she has these winning sides, which aren't that bad. It means she can sort of contest for a lot of these objectives. Twitch is up CS. Cho'Gath is stronger than Sion early. She just needs to wait for her bot lane to come bot lane. Get vision on Wukong and potentially can take this drag and sort of stabilize the game. While there's a lot of trading on top side.
Yeah, Cho'Gath has unlocked that ult. Does use it straight away in minutes. I think a big mistake that a lot of Cho'Gath players can make is holding their ult for a champion kill early game. If you just use it, it's not really too long of a cooldown. Just use it on a minion, you get that extra stack, you get that extra bit of HP. If the opportunity comes for a kill, you can go for it. But I think holding it can be really drag out how long it takes you to get up these stacks and get up to that point where Cho'Gath becomes this big unkillable beast that is running you down.
Twitch is opting for the AD Twitch. You can see that pickaxe in his inventory. AP Twitch is popular. I've seen AP Twitch support. But I think they're opting for the fact that Anivia is going to be solo AP. We're going to see if that's enough AP to melt through all of the front line.
I think maybe potentially some kind of AP carry jungler might have worked a little bit better. I do like the Sejuani, but I just feel like the damage is just not there with the Anivia.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it develops, because Twitch also does true damage in his kit. But it's also true damage equal to how much AP he has.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how this works. If he's landing multiple autos, he's landing lots of true damage.
I think this is
he is on a hyper carry, so we're going to see when he gets his items, we'll see if the lack of AP damage is actually influential. As that early drag is going to die.
Now they're going to get hooked straight away here. Yusuf is free on him at the back of the fight. Granny Sparrow does absolutely no damage early game to this Nautilus. But neither of these ADCs really do enough damage to pose a proper threat to each other. Yeah, excuse me. There's no Dravens, there's no Jins, nothing like this. Nothing that can really take someone down quickly early on in the game.
Yeah, there's no really bursty champs. I think Wibbly's going to set up a dive. Yeah, you can see Yusuf and Bisham are actually trying to push that wave in. No, he's actually just opting for the blue buff.
Yeah, he has a protection from his mid laner there as well, so... Sejuani is not able to take any of her jungle. She's having an absolute nightmare.
But we were talking about this in the pre-game. Sejuani is such a good utilizer of Radiant Virtue and tank mythics in general. She doesn't need that much gold because she has her passive that gives her shielding. She's immune to slows when her passive's up as well. So she gets her first item and she is extremely strong. And then she can just itemize defensively. So even though she is slightly down, it's only 1 camp. I don't think it makes too much of a difference falling behind on a Wukong. However,
but we can look straight in. The ult does come in. Chop has to dash away. The ult coming in from February 14th as well, but he's locked up. The Ash Arrow does go wide. But he's going to have to flash away. Kasaka is coming here to help, but Chop is going to fall for the second time this game. The Glitch version coming out as well. And it's an absolute disaster for the BAF top side. Herald lost. Your jungler's dead. No flashes on either of you. Your top laner's dead as well. And ICM free roam all over the map now. It's the only area of the game that seems to be staying relatively the same is the bot lane, which, I mean, if you are boosted, if you are Boosted, if there's one area of the map that you want to be even, you don't want to fall behind like this, it is your bot lane, so...
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Nautilus had Roam and Renata, because they managed to push that wave in, so Nautilus managed to back, and then arrived to that fight about 10 to 20 seconds before Renata even backed. So that means that even if Renata was there, it wouldn't have made a difference. Because the fight would have been over before she got there. Really, really unfortunate. You can see like Chops trying to make something happen, trying to slow down the pace of the game a bit by contesting these objectives, which is a valiant effort. But she has a top lane that was pushed in, and she had a support that was kind of late on the roam. Really, really unfortunate. But you can see like how, if she's going to try and stop the Drake stacking. There's a lot of training happening bot lane.
The ult is going to come out. Bishan's in a lot of trouble here. The flash and knocked up, but he's going to fall. So much damage from this Twitch already. Just the boots and the pickaxe just decided at some point he was going to open and just murder the enemy support. And now this is your saving grace for BAF. When your jungle is behind, your top lane is behind, your mid lane is behind. This Twitch being ahead, getting that kill, getting ahead a little bit early, but he is in so much trouble now. Lissandra is here. She's going to flash into those ladder W, and the prison as well, and Granny Spanner is going to fall. It's a double kill for Wibbly. 3 kills and 2 assists, 5 KP on the board at 11 minutes. Absolutely
really greedy. Really greedy from Granny Spanner and Digitus, not just getting those kills and leaving. I assume they wanted to try and push in their wave, but they didn't have enough vision. You can look bot side. There's no red vision to spot the Lissandra roam or to spot the Wukong being bot side. So they got the first kill, which is all good, but they lost 2 lives as a result of it, and 4 plates it looks like.
Yeah, they got that foot in the door they needed, and immediately Wibbly slammed it on them.
If you're boosted, how do you win this? Like, what is your win con? It looks like Twitch is your basic win con, but Anivia, if you give her some gold, I wouldn't say give her all the gold.
Yeah, she's behind, and she's getting very heavily outroamed. This Lissandra's having a lot of impact over the map. There's not much you can really do about that as Anivia. But this is what I was talking about earlier. This ICM draft, it just allows for things to be done. It lets you make plays. Every single champion on that ICM team has some level of playmaking to their kit. Like you have the Ashel, the Nautilus' entire kit is almost exclusively playmaking. Lissandra's a really good playmaking champion. Wukong has the same effect. Sion, not as much as the others, but still to an extent with that ult. But there's just not really much you can go and do proactively for BF, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble here. The Nautilus ult does come out. He's going to flash away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but it's not going to be enough. It's just so much damage. He's going to fall again. Renata is not able to keep him alive. Wibbly with another kill, and Chop the Farmer comes down, and he's just going to be collected again. An absolute travesty for Boosted. I think I don't know if there's a way back from this. Navi almost picking up that big shutdown in the Wukong, but he's gonna get away with his life. Gonna just walk straight down to the bottom and collect this wave.
I think this is also what you expect from this type
disaster.
of comp. Yeah, a very early game focused comp from Wibbly and Kostotka are running this with Lissandra Wukong. Very early game focused, and they've just been forcing plays bot lane. Now impossible for Granny and Digitus to actually do anything, and Chop the Farmer can't do anything either. Remember at the beginning of the game, Wukong started red buff, went to his Raptors, and started taking bot side camps. And he's just been doing that on repeat basically every single time he can. And just enabling a lot of plays bot lane, denying vision, and sort of stopping their win con. Twitch doesn't get to scale for free because Twitch is the center of attention all the time.
Yeah, it does feel like there's some level of a lack of identity to the... I don't know if it's the comp or the roster, but I think you know what I mean. But Chop gonna find himself in a little more trouble here. It's another gank into bot lane. Ashe, the slows, the damage. Granny Spanner is not going to be able to live for long. Wibbly gonna grab another kill. Lysandra manages to save himself as well. The smite's going to come out to finish off Bisham, but Chop's not going to be able to get away with all those slows. Yanivia comes in to save him, but the hostile takeover is going to come in as well. Nobody is even falling yet. Layapi in trouble as well. He's not going to be able to get away with the slows. The egg is not enough to save him. It is 11-2. It's an absolute massacre.
Yeah, lots of focus bot lane. I think it's paying dividends. It starts snowballing out of control at this point. As this Wukong has finished that Divine Sundra, and he is 6-0-4, almost half of their kills combined on this Wukong only.
It's just bot. It's bot gank. Wait till they back up. Bot gank. Wait till they back up. Take an objective. Back to bot. It's over and over again. It's so difficult for them to do anything because you don't have like the Cho'Gath and the Anivia. They just don't benefit that much from you can't really play around them. You have to get this Twitch ahead, but he's just being choked out of the game completely.
Yeah, exactly. They're sort of stopping their one win con, this Twitch, this really hyper-scaling ADC, from actually playing the game. They burnt his flash and then they regank without flash. Or they burn his ghost so he can't run away and then they regank him when his summon is all.
It's exactly how we said it in the draft. There's no agency in this game for you. You're waiting for things to happen to you and it's never working. It's never working because Wibbly is already so fed, but they're just playing these fights so well. You can't do anything back. Like you have to wait for them to go for you before you can really go for something. Especially with the Sejuani. If the Sejuani isn't close by, you basically don't have agency. You have to wait for a mistake almost. But
yeah,
ICM are just not making those mistakes at all. They're just not making these errors that they need, or that BAF need, rather.
Yeah, it's really hard to make mistakes when you have a comp that's so easy to function.
Oh, the prison's coming in as well. It's going to be another massacre, and the app is going to fall already. We're not able to keep him alive for long enough. The hostile takeover is going to do absolutely nothing. Wibbly with another 2 kills, and Teasums, after watching his team fall, is going to be sent straight back to the fountain with them. Granny Spanner, the last one standing.
I'm very curious to see what the gold distribution looks like. Yeah, Twitch is almost 1,500 gold down. Mid lane is down 3,000. Jungle is down 3,000, almost 4,000. Top lane's down 2k. Support's down 1,000. They're just bleeding slowly.
1.6k in the top lane. 4,000 gold difference in the jungle. 2,000 gold difference in the mid lane. 1.7 thousand gold difference in the bot lane. It's an absolute massacre. Probably the most one-sided game of the season so far.
Yeah, very desperate times. And you have to ask yourself, like, how do you come back from this? Do you pull a Fnatic and you play around one side of the map and then exclusively focus on that and then also let them force? Do you try and protect your tier 2 top? Do you try and protect your tier 2 bots?
It feels like
there's so many ways they can come around, but it's very difficult decisions you have to make.
We're just past the point of really being even able to make these mistakes. Teasum's going to find himself in a world of hurt. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow stunning for an absolute lifetime. He's going to go straight onto Lysandra. He does have that feast available, but he's not going to be able to get on top of her. And it's another free kill for ICM. He's caught out of position. Not as tanky as he thought. Normally Lysandra she did struggle taking down that tank, but when she is this far ahead, it's going to be a lot easier. And you're just not doing damage to the Scion. He does not take damage. Wibbly is here. He's been baited in. The ult's coming in as well. It's just going from bad to worse. Layapi's sitting on the edge of this fight. Mixed focus completely. Wibbly does take down Chop. Layapi gonna fall in turn. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah.
Yeah, Wibbly goes legendary as well, and that's sort of the death knell. The final bell's sort of being rung as this Wukong is becoming quite a problem that cannot be stopped, but so is the mid lane, so is the AD carry, like...
Yeah, you just pick out any of these players, they're all just so far ahead. You can make as many mistakes as you want. Kasaka finds himself in a little bit of trouble, but the Nautilus is going to be enough. Twitch can't even play the game, and he's dead again for the 4th time. More pressure in the top lane. Your team is getting kills bot lane. Wibbly's going to find himself actually in a lot of trouble for once. He does manage to get the flash away, but he is going to fall in the end to Chop. Maybe another killer, February 14th. Then Chop across the arrow from Yusuf in the bot lane does go wide. February 14th going to fall in the end after about 4 different Heartsteel procs in one fight.
Yep, 1,000 gold into Chop the farmer, so potentially he can do something with that. Buy something, he sort of has to go back home, realize what does this game look like, what do I buy this? Obviously, answers to how they win this game, but it also depends on how his team wants to coordinate. Do they think that they need to peel the Twitch slightly more? Do they think that she needs more damage or more durability? There are options, there are items that she can buy, or items that Chop can buy. He just needs to make that realization.
Another kill, he's just walking blindly into a brush. I think maybe Tilt might have affected the decision, might have clouded the judgment there a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very desperate game from one side, but on the other hand, it's a very fair controlled game from ICM.
Yeah, they are handling this lead well. They're not necessarily overstepping too much. They know that there is still some semblance of a limit, but I think it would take some level of a disaster to be even remotely close to this game being shaky even.
Yeah, Baron gets killed at 21 minutes. Earliest one of the day at least.
Jungle just gonna get himself out of there fairly easily. I know it is a Sejuani, but she's just so far behind. There's nothing you can do. Like you do have these scaling picks, but you can't outscale from this far behind. It does not happen. Bishan almost for a half slash over the wall.
They have the scaling picks, but they don't have the time, it seems, as they're slowly being choked out here. 3 people top side, 1 person bot side. If this is if Baron is still up, this is what we call in the business a Huni setup, but they're not going to do it, they don't need that.
Maybe he's able to find some level of an engage here. The ult does come out as well, but they're just too far ahead. It doesn't matter, there is so much damage. Yusuf on the backline, just melting Chop, completely free autoing at the back there. And the flash comes over Kasaka, it's absolute, it is just a massacre. They can do whatever they want, there is no limits to it.
Yeah, meanwhile Cho'Gath wasn't at the fight.
Not even there, it's just more noodle slapping in the bot lane. But, they're gonna get the first hit, they're gonna get the second. Sion might be able to take the third as well. Granny Span is dead again! Digitest under his own towers. Not going to be able to get out. Bishan's so close to dying. Might have been able to get out if he was able to get a range of that ignite, but Chop's going to come out. He's just going to try and delay the inevitable for as long as he can. February 14th on the side of this fight, trying to get that last inhib, but it just doesn't really matter.
They could have ended here off of that, but they do have the Anivia that came up here. Obviously opting to not throw away all of the gold that they have. They're just gonna back off there. But 2 inhibs down, almost 15,000 gold down. In favor of ICM.
I think Granny Spanner is having a night of it, because Fnatic are pretty much about to go out of LEC in the first round as well. Huge Fnatic fan or Harry, but it's on and off the rift. Just not having a good time. Treason finds himself in a little bit of trouble. That tower, that last inhib tower is going to go down. They're going to get this final inhibitor. Oh, the flash
Yeah,
comes in, Shroud's Nappy, he's in a complete no man's land, but he doesn't care. There's so much damage and so much genocidal coming in as well. It just does not, they cannot misplay this fight. They're too far ahead. 2 kills for Ash, 1 return for Teasums, but they just can't do anything. There's no reason they can't just end on the spot. It's 26-5. They're just trying to get some way into this fight. Yusuf on the backline trying to deal with Chop. Does have that Kraken Slayer. He's absolutely melting, and Bishop is going to fall, but the Chop does win that, and it might be a lost fight. More kills for Teasums. It's 4 kills for Bison. I'm not even going to attempt to play the narrative that this game is comebackable, but perhaps they can last off this push at the very least.
A bit overzealous there from ICM to try and like force the end there. They fought on 3 fronts there almost. They had the top fight that was going on between, or they had the jungler diving in, then they had the top lane and mid fighting a separate one. Meanwhile, Yusuf and Bishon were just getting run down by Chop the farmer, and those Heartsteel procs and the Sunfire Cape doing a lot of work there. You can't come back from this. You have so much free XP from the super minions, but you're on soul points. They've got Baron. They can basically take any objective they want. If you don't force and you have the constant looming threat of just being
that's another fight
Sion
attempt, but it just does not matter. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Chop is getting very tanky, but Wibby does pick out his the huge Lissandra on the back line. And Kasaka. I didn't like his Lissandra in the first game, but he has blown me away with this one. I just kind of gonna get away with his life somehow. The Tokyo Drift. Oh, they're teleporting for the Twitch. He's just gonna let it happen. And the game is over. It is an absolute massacre. There is no better way to put it than that.